Today's lesson is on subject and verb agreement. When you have an agreement, that means that the two things are working together. And that's what you need to have happen when you're talking about subjects. When we talked about back in the beginning, the subject is the thing that's being talked about in a sentence. And then you have your verb, which is the action that is happening to or is happening by that item. When you have your singular subjects, that means there's only one thing that's interacting. Maybe let's use me for example. If I use the word I and I'm singular, you only have these three options as your helping verbs to interact with the word I. I am. Now, if you use Miss Whitfield, there's still only one of me. Miss Whitfield is or was, and then whatever is happening. So I am teaching, or you might say Miss Whitfield is teaching or Miss Whitfield was teaching, okay? Now, if you have plural, that means you've duplicated me. There's Miss Whitfield and Miss Whitfield number 2. Pretend there's somebody right there. If I had more than one of me, you would use the words are or were. So the Miss Whitfields are going to teach the lesson today, or the Miss Whitfields were teaching about trigonometry. I will never,
ever teach trigonometry.
You don't want to do math with me, it's bad. So, plural, you use are or were. Singular, you use am, is, or was. This has nothing to do with it being in the past or the present. It's just all about how many things are your subject. More than one or just the one. Now let's take that down here and translate it to these three sentences. We have Jacob and Sean. So since we have more than one item in our subject, we're going to skip over from singular. So we know not to use am, is, or was. So it means Jacob and Sean is either going to be are or were from England. And either one of these could work depending on your paragraph and what you're talking about. So if we were talking about it in the present tense, we would say Jacob and Sean are from England. So we let them know, like maybe they just traveled over and they're like, where are you from? Oh, Jacob and Sean, they are from England. Okay? Now, if we were talking in the past tense, maybe it was 100 years ago and Jacob and Sean came over and they were settlers. You would say Jacob and Sean were from England. All you're doing is changing up when it happened, but they still both are or they both were, and that's it. So for number 2 here, I'll put were in there. All right, potato soup, blank, made with onions. Now this one is actually going to be present tense because it's how you do it. And then since it's potato soup, it's only one soup, right? Singular. So we're going straight over to this side. Potato soup is made with onions. Finally, at the bottom, this one's a trick. I want to take a moment, give you a break and see if you can figure it out without me first, and then we're going to talk about it. So the sentence says, the deer blank standing alone. Ding! All right, let's see what you came up with. This one can work multiple ways. But in this one, you have to know, is this singular or is it plural? The way you would know is this word here. The word alone is your clue to let us know that this deer is singular. Because the word deer can be singular or plural, because that is the singular and plural way to spell it. You don't say deers. There's no such thing. It's not a word. It will not be in your dictionary. Deer is both singular and plural. So one Bambi or two Bambis, okay? The deer, in this case, since it's alone, lets me know that it's singular. Or it could be was. Is or was is going to be there. So is standing alone or was standing alone. That's subject and verb agreement. All you need to know is how many of those subjects you have. Is it one? Is it more than one? Which helping verb gets tied with it? If it's singular, it's am, is, and was. If it's plural, it's are or were. And then out when it took place, and then you'll know if it's going to be present or past. Present or past. Present or past. That's it. See ya.